Understanding policies and their role in climate action and relevant advocacy strategy. Climate change is no longer a distant possibility. It's here and it's impacting every corner of the globe. From the farms of Africa to the coastal cities of Asia, we are seeing firsthand the devastating effects of rising temperatures and extreme weather. But here's the question: are we prepared to tackle it? And more importantly, do we have the right policies in place to protect the most vulnerable? In this video, we'll break down the complex world of climate policies, explore the actions being taken at both global and local levels, and discuss what you can do to make a difference in your community. But let's start by asking, what is being done right now to combat climate change? Are we doing enough? Climate action can take two forms: mitigation and adaptation. Mitigation is about preventing future harm by reducing the greenhouse gases like CO2 and methane that are heating our planet. But adaptation means adjusting to the changes that are already happening. The big question is, can we balance both, or are we too focused on one over the other? To mitigate climate change, we can switch to renewable energy sources, adopt climate-smart agriculture, and protect natural carbon sinks like oceans and forests. But when it comes to adaptation, we need to ask, how well are we preparing? Are we building flood-safe homes, planting weather-resistant crops, and implementing early warning systems? Which actions do you think are more critical in your own community, mitigation or adaptation? Can you identify examples where either one might have helped reduce the impacts of climate change? Climate change is a global issue that requires global solutions. Policies like the Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Agreement, and the UN's Sustainable Development Goals guide nations towards reducing their emissions and preparing for the future. But are these policies enough? And what about countries that contribute the least to climate change but are hit the hardest? For instance, countries in Africa and Asia are taking climate action, but many struggle with funding and resources to meet their targets. That's where climate justice comes in. It's about acknowledging that the people most affected by climate change are often those who have contributed the least to the problem. How do we ensure that climate justice becomes a central focus of global policy? Should wealthier nations be responsible for compensating vulnerable countries? And if so, how? While global policies are essential, climate action must also happen at the local level. That's where you come in. Communities can take charge by developing their own policies, whether it's about water management, disaster preparedness, or conserving local ecosystems. Take, for example, local water resource mapping projects in India, where communities work together to conserve water and adapt to climate changes. Or the women-led water conservation efforts in Gujarat, which transformed a village's resilience to drought. What could your community do to prepare for climate-related challenges? What small steps could be taken to make a difference in building resilience? When it comes to climate action, communities hold the key. Grassroots efforts, local advocacy, and participation in policy making can drive significant change. But here's a thought: are communities equipped with the knowledge, resources, and power to influence climate policies? In many cases, it's women and young people leading the way. In Jasdan, India, young men and women mapped out water sources, conserving precious resources for the future. In rural villages, youths are helping their communities access government support for climate resilience. These examples show the power of local leadership. But what can be done to ensure that even more communities take part in this global effort? Do you feel that your community has a voice in local or national climate policies? If not, what can be done to ensure that local perspectives are heard? However, even with policies in place, many challenges remain. In Africa and Asia, countries face critical gaps in funding and data availability, making it hard to implement effective climate strategies. Often policies don't consider local realities, especially the different impacts climate change has on men, women, and marginalized communities. Without gender disaggregated data, for instance, how can we know the true impact of displacement on families? Without the involvement of local knowledge, how can policymakers create solutions that truly work? What kinds of local knowledge or practices may be overlooked by policymakers? How can we ensure that this invaluable information is captured and integrated into climate strategies? Now, it's time to ask yourself, what role can you play in advocating for better climate policies? Communities can start by understanding their local governance systems and preparing advocacy strategies. Whether it's preparing a charter of demands, launching a petition, or holding local leaders accountable, every voice matters. Communities have the power to shape policies that work for them. The question is, are we ready to step up and lead the charge? What is the most pressing climate issue your community faces? How can you start advocating for change right now? Climate action isn't just about international agreements or government policies. It's about what happens on the ground, in our cities, towns, and villages. By understanding the policies that affect us, advocating for change, and taking action ourselves, we can help build a more resilient, sustainable future for everyone. Take action today. Your community, your voice, your future. This publication was made possible through the funding provided by Global Affairs Canada under the Empowering Women and Girls project. The Commonwealth of Learning wishes to thank the contributors to this video: Kuntal De, Sandy Hart, Francis Ferreira, Cyrus Kithuva, and Colin Somondi.